So we are reading from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, 4th chapter, text number 14. Na mam karmani limpanti na me karma phale spriha iti mam yo abhijanati karmabhir na sa badhyate namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yo bijanati karma bhirna sa labhadyate. Never mam me karmani, all kinds of work, limpanti, do affect, nor, me, my, karma phale, in fruitive action, spriha, aspiration, iti, thus, mam, me, ya, one who, abhijanati, thus know, karma bhi, by the reaction of such work, never, sa, he, badhyate, becomes entangled. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Purport. As there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws, similarly the Lord, although He is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For the advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being full in Himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only His engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth. Although without such rains, there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows. Nimittamattam evasau srijanam sargar karmani pradhana karani bhuta yato vaisrijya shaktayah. In the material creation, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature, by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. And all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but He is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra it is confirmed, Vaishamya naigrinye na sapekshatvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshodan Miritam Yanam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sapadantigam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Ganta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Share Vrishabhanu Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. namam karmani limpati name karma pale spriha iti mam yo bijanati karma bhinasa padyate. There's no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So in this chapter, Krishna is explaining this transcendental knowledge to Arjuna. And he was explaining in the beginning how this knowledge is actually coming. That first of all, Krishna himself, so he gave this transcendental knowledge to the sun god. And then he gave it to his son. So in this way, so the transcendental knowledge is being received. As we know that there are actually, especially in the age of Kali, it is mentioned 4 disciplic successions. So the origin ultimately is always Krishna, or then the expansions of Krishna, who are giving this transcendental knowledge to great personalities, like in our Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, or one other Sampradaya, Lord Shiva is receiving the knowledge, and then they are giving to their disciples. And then here also, in this chapter in the beginning, so Krishna is explaining that so he himself is coming to this world and he is actually protecting the devotees, and at the same time, of course, giving this transcendental knowledge and establishing the principles of religion, dharma. And then is also killing the demons, unwanted personalities, who are actually giving difficulties to the devotees, who are a burden to this material world. And then he's explaining also further that janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva deham puna janma naiti mam iti swajuna. So that, my dear Arjuna, so that the persons who are accepting this knowledge and then who understand actually my activities, karma, my birth, janma karma. So my janma, that means the appearance of the Lord, karma, the activities of the Lord, chame divyam, who are transcendental. So he's making clear that Krishna is completely transcendental. He himself is explaining, and all the great personalities, as Arjuna himself later in the 10th chapter, he was explaining that yes, I accept that you are the Supreme Lord. And all the great sages like Vyasadeva, Devala, Asita, great personalities, they have recognized that, they have explained, they have told that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that you are transcendental. So, and then he's saying, Krishna himself, Veti Tattvataha, one who knows this in truth. Janma kama chane vidyam evam yoveti tattvataha tyaktva dhyanupana janma naiti mametis Arjuna. So after giving up this body, he has not to take birth again, but he is liberated. He can go to the spiritual world and be engaged in the transcendental loving exchange with Krishna, serving Krishna constantly. So, but in order to come to that platform, so one has to hear from the spiritual master, and one has to engage in devotional service. And after properly understanding, in truth, veti tattvataha, that means in truth. And actually in several places in the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna has explained Veti Tattvataha, that one must know me in truth. And those who know me in truth, they can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And then they can enter in the kingdom of God. So it is not so easy to enter into the kingdom of God. One must become qualified. One must know Krishna in truth. Not simply having some knowledge, but then to realize the subject matter. As Krishna himself was speaking to Lord Brahma also. In the Bhagavatam, he has explained the 4 nutshell verses, the origin of the Bhagavatam, the original verses, is explaining to Brahma. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord has explained, Jnanam param guhyam me, yad vijnanam samanvitam, sa rahasya tad angasya grihana gedidam maya. My dear Arjuna, so my dear Lord Brahma, so please you kindly accept what I am telling you. I am giving you this knowledge, which is the most confidential, param guhyam, yad rahasyam, yad vijnanam, and it is implied that if you follow actually this process which I am giving you, then you will get realization, practical realization. So it is a secret. But so it means that you have to accept what I am saying, and you have to do what I am saying. You have to follow what I am saying. And then you will get realization, Vijnan. And then you become realized. And then you become liberated. And then you can enter into the kingdom of God. So that is the process. So then he's explaining also, so as one is surrendering unto me, I reward accordingly. So those who are fully surrendered to Krishna, they will get a full mercy. One is surrendering a little bit, he will get a little mercy. So, but in order to become perfect, one has to fully surrender to Krishna. And then one will get the full mercy. And then he was explaining also about this, three modes of material nature. And then that one has to act according to the three modes of material nature, or be situated in one vana and ashram. Because ultimately, we are not this body, we are spirit soul, that we know, and we have to serve Krishna with transcendental knowledge, with the transcendental senses, purified senses. Especially in the age of Kali, by chanting the holy names, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is the most important activity, chanting the holy names in the age of Kali. But at the same time, so the other important activities, like one has to hear about Krishna. Because without hearing about Krishna, one cannot remember Krishna. And then one has to serve the Acha Vigraha, the form of the Lord, because in the beginning we cannot see Krishna. So therefore we have to hear about Him, and then that is also kind of seeing. When we hear about Krishna, how Krishna is so beautiful. Tribang Lalit Cham Sundar, his form is bent in 3 places. And then one has to serve the deity, and then the relationship is there. So then one has to act also according to our situation in this world. One has a certain body, a certain nature. So therefore then one has to be in one ashram and one vana. One has to act accordingly. Being engaged in Brahminical activities, or being an administrator, or taking care of the land, or the cows, or doing business, or just simply working for the benefit of the other persons. And then either one is a brahmachari, a celibate, or one is a householder. So these situations are there. And of course later on one should renounce household life and then become a vanaprasti. Going to the forest, meaning one should give up all external activities, being in this material world, and concentrate on the most important activities, that is chanting the holy names especially, and studying the scriptures, worshipping the deities. And then the other activities should be neglected, like taking care of the family, that one has to do when one is in a grihastha ashram. But after the age of 50, when the children are grown up, then one should distance oneself, one should try to become free from being too much absorbed in taking care of the family, being preoccupied of what all the family members are doing, and then trying to earn money, so that should be given up. And live in a very simple way, simple living, but then high thinking, meaning concentrating on the Supreme Lord. So one has to act according to that. So that is important. And so then here Krishna in this verse, so he's explaining that that I myself, so I'm also acting in this material world. And then he's explaining that I'm acting in such a way that others will also follow me. And therefore Krishna, especially when he was in Mathura and then Dwarka, or when he was in Hastinapura, present day Delhi, so then he was acting according to the injunctions of the scriptures most of the time. Although he's the Supreme Lord, and he has created this material world, or under his instructions this material world has been created and is functioning by the different demigods who are taking care of everything. So he doesn't have to do anything actually in this material world. But still he is coming to attract the conditioned souls. Therefore he himself is coming, performing his wonderful pastimes to attract the conditioned souls, especially in Braj. Most wonderful pastimes to attract the conditioned souls. So in Vrindavan, Krishna is there in his childhood pastimes and he's simply playing. And his friends are there and he's having so much fun. And then of course with the gopis, the most loving exchange is there, most exalted activities are there, but which are in one point of view confidential, and this we can only properly understand when one is firmly fixed in devotional service. But so he's performing these activities to attract the fallen conditioned souls and to show in the spiritual world actually you can have a very simple life, and there you don't have to work very hard, but simply you have to be engaged in the service to the Supreme Lord, to Krishna himself, in the loving exchange, which is like it is known also as the pastime. It is not hard work. It is like recreation. So much fun is there. But then of course Krishna, so he performed these pastimes, but then later he went to Mathura and Dwarka just to show also how one has to act in this world. And so here he's explaining that although he was apparently also working as the king, he was doing the duty of a king, he was giving charity just to instruct the common man, just to show what is the duty of a king, what is the duty of a householder, how one should behave. So he was performing everything exemplary for the benefit of the common man. But Krishna is not affected by his work. He's always transcendently situated. And so he's performing his pastimes in the spiritual world, and they're perfect and complete. So Krishna is perfect and complete and most wonderful. And even in this material world, when he's coming to this world, he's coming in his original form, not bound by this material world. He comes with a spiritual body. Janma karma chame divyam. So his janma, his birth, is divyam, is transcendental. His activities are transcendental. So not affected by the three modes of material nature. And then he doesn't aspire for the fruits of his action. So he's giving charity when he was in Dwarka. But then he doesn't expect to get anything in return from anybody. And for example, he's performing various activities also, or even he was killing so many demons, and so doing the duty of a kshatriya, destroying the miscreants. But it's not that he was then aspiring that, okay, I will kill these Kshatriyas and then I will enjoy the wealth which I will obtain by killing these Kshatriyas. No. There's no need, because Bhuktarangya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram, everything belongs to him already. Everything belongs to Krishna. So he doesn't have to work to get some result. Whatever Krishna is doing is transcendental. And is Atmaram, Aptakam, he's always self-satisfied. So whatever he's doing, that is his pastime actually. And that is full of pleasure. And of course, but by performing his pastime, so many purposes are served. By doing one action, many results are obtained. So that is the Supreme Lord who is performing his wonderful pastimes. And so then he's explaining here that the one who understands this truth about me is also not entangled in fruitive work or the reactions to his work. So that means the devotees, they're actually knowledgeable. And so, as explained in the previous verse, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. So those who know Krishna in truth, so they will not have to take birth again in this material world. They become free from the three modes of material nature. So, but for that, so they have to gain this transcendental knowledge. Of course, Krishna himself, he was speaking this knowledge. And so from the Bhagavad-Gita, so we can learn, or then from the spiritual master, as Krishna is explaining, Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnana sevaya upadekshati degyanam gyaninas tattvadarsinaha. You should go to a spiritual master, tattvadarsinaha, who has darshan of the absolute truth. You serve him. And then you ask questions. And then he will give you transcendental knowledge. So in this way, by taking shelter of the representative of the Lord, and then under his guidance, taking shelter of Krishna, and being constantly engaged in spiritual activities, then we become transcendental to the three modes of material nature, and then there is no reaction to one's activities. But so in order for that to be achieved, so one has to take shelter of the spiritual master, the pure devotee, and act under his guidance. And then by his mercy, when we are constantly engaged in spiritual activities, and then we will realize our spiritual form as the eternal servant of Krishna. And then we can take full shelter of Krishna. And then there is a transcendental loving exchange with Krishna. And then full knowledge will be there. And then we can understand everything very clearly. Everything becomes clear. And then we are not bound to the reactions. Then there is no reaction to our activities. Then we become free. Then the activities become transcendental. When we are purified in consciousness by receiving knowledge, by applying that knowledge, by serving Krishna, then all the senses are purified. The consciousness, the mind, the intelligence, the ego is purified. And then we understand our real nature as the eternal servant of Krishna. And then we will be in loving exchange with Krishna. And then, so then the activities will be transcendental in relation to Krishna. And then, so being free from the three modes of material nature, one is not bound, there is no reaction to one's activities. And then, so one will be able to enter into the kingdom of God. So that is actually the constitutional position of the living entity. That is actually dharma. Dharma means religion, but not only religion. Religion, so of course there are so many religions, especially these days. Krishna religion is there, the Muslim religion is there, so many religions may be there, which is ultimately also given by the representatives of the Lord to some persons at a certain place, just for them to make some advancement in life. So that is, but that is known as Naimitika Dharma. It is Naimitika means occasional, or it means so that it is only for some time it is being performed. But the correct understanding, the realization is not there. But the real Dharma, that is Nitya Dharma, that is Sanatan Dharma, that is actually serving Krishna. Jivera Sopoi Krishnera Nitya. So we are the eternal servants of Krishna. So real Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, the eternal Dharma means to actually serve Krishna, the person Krishna, in a loving exchange of Krishna's expansions, like Vishnu, or Ramchandra Bhagavan, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By serving Krishna, Mahaprabhu, so that is actually real bhakti. That is real religion. That is true dharma. Whereas all the other forms, and that is eternal. If one is established on that platform, one will eternally serve Krishna. But all the others who have no knowledge of the personal feature of the Supreme Lord, and who do not know exactly where the Supreme Lord is residing, what is He doing, and what are we actually supposed to do, what is a loving exchange with Him. So if one is not knowing that properly, one is then engaged in dharma which is temporary, just like the Christian religion which is there. So they have some knowledge of God, but they don't have complete knowledge. And therefore there is not really any transcendental loving exchange there. Because for an exchange to be there, there must be a person. And you must know the person. And you must know what he likes and what he doesn't like. And then it is a practical exchange there. Just like in any relationship in this world. So between husband and wife, or between friends, or the boss of a company and the servants are there, the employees are there, the workers. There's practical exchange is there. The persons are there. And there's an exchange is there. By speaking, by serving, reciprocating. So this personal exchange is there. So same way with the Supreme Lord. So one must know, one must see the Supreme Person as He is, in His personal form. And then we can really serve Him. And then there's real reciprocation there. So that is then the real dharma, real religion. Whereas all the other religions, they may be helpful, that they're actually the beginning stage. When one will understand that there's a Supreme Creator, that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, and we should try to glorify the Supreme Lord. So, but these forms of religions, so there is no complete knowledge there, because actually most of them, they are not able to fully understand everything. Just like small children, they go to school, they go to primary class, they learn the ABC, and they're counting 1 to 10. But they cannot know more. They cannot read. They cannot understand philosophy. Not possible. So they have to start from the beginning. So these other religions which are there, so they're helping some persons at some place under certain circumstances, so they may make some advancement. But then the highest form of religion, that is Sanatan Dharma, so which is propagated by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Himself, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Himself. So they have given the guidelines, and then the acharyas, the spiritual master, so they have practically shown how we should engage in the spiritual activities and the step-by-step making advancement in spiritual life. And then realizing more and more the spiritual form of the Supreme Lord and our form, and the loving relationship, and then everything becomes very clear. So the more we engage in spiritual activities under the guidance of the spiritual master, the more everything becomes clear, and the more we become free from the influence of the three modes of material nature. We can become free from any inebriety, any kind of darkness, bewilderment, confusion, and everything becomes clear. So just like Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, because he's a pure devotee of the Lord. So he clearly was able to give the message of Krishna, because Krishna's message is clear, but the pure devotees only they can understand, and then they can give the message to other fallen, to the conditioned souls, who may not be able to clearly understand without the help of the spiritual master. But if you are under the guidance of the spiritual master, then everything becomes very clear. And then we can progress more and more, and then we can also help others. And it is actually our duty also. When we are somewhat properly situated, so then we should try to help others also to engage in spiritual activities, give them knowledge, the understanding, the proper understanding of the spiritual world, of Krishna, of our spiritual nature and our relationship with the Supreme Lord, with Krishna. So the process is very sublime, and it is possible to, even though in the age of Kali, it is not so easy to engage in spiritual activities, because the general mass of people, and the common man, is so much absorbed in materialistic activities. So therefore the whole environment is very materialistic. So it is somewhat difficult to be properly situated on transcendental activities. But by the mercy of the Lord and His devotees, if we take shelter of Hari Guru Vaishnava, of the Lord, the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, then it becomes somewhat easy to engage in spiritual activities and to make more and more advancement. But we always have to remain very humble, and one has to be very sincere and serious and careful, and try to be properly situated and try to help others also. And also being properly situated, then ultimately we will be fully liberated, and then we can enter into the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna. Any question? Yes.
Thank you for a very nice class. You said that worship. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, thank you for. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, thank you for a very nice class. You mentioned that Sanatana Dharma is real religion.
Yes.
You mentioned that other people who engage in other religions, they
Yes.
may make some advancement
Yes.
initially. My
Yes.
question to you is, in a best case scenario, with full advantages in every way, how much advancement can these people make?
How much advancement they can make? Yes. Yeah, that is a good question, and yes. They can make...
The second part of my question
Yes.
in terms of them not being involved fully in Sanatana Dharma,
Yes.
the worship of Sri Krishna,
Yes.
does it make much difference which other religion they're in? Is there some where you can make more advancement or some less advancement? Or if a person is very sincere?
Yes. Yes. If somebody is very sincere, so if he's following the religion to which he belongs to, let's say Christian or Muslim religion, if he's sincere, if he's in the right association of persons who are also sincere, who are knowledgeable, who are properly following their religion, because there are many Christians, or most of the Christians, they don't even have the proper knowledge. Only very few, for example, they are vegetarian of the Christians, and they actually have knowledge, and they actually are engaging in glorifying the Lord. And so they can make some advancement, and they can actually also have some realization of their being not this body and spirit soul. And they can feel the presence of God. But they cannot have the full understanding of the Supreme Lord and of their own form and relationship with God. But they can make some advancement. And usually, those who are following and advancing nicely in their religion, by dint of their being sincere, they will come to Sanatana Dharma. That is for sure. If not in this lifetime, then in the next lifetime. It is for sure, just like a child is going to the school. He's going in the primary school. And if he's an intelligent boy and sincere, following the teacher, then he will go to the secondary school. And then he's going to high school and then university. It is sure. Similarly, those who are following their religion, it is sure they will come to Sanatana Dharma. If not in this lifetime, then in that next lifetime, it is sure. Because Krishna is there and is seeing their endeavor. So, but there are very few actually who are really sincere. But they are. And that we have to recognize and not think we are the only religion. Because we have actually the highest, and we are very fortunate, and most probably all of us, we have in the previous life already performed some spiritual activities. Therefore we came to Krishna consciousness. Therefore we are advancing nicely. Therefore we can become perfect. We have great chance to become perfect. So those of the other religions, so they can come to certain stage, but they have to come to Sanatana Dharma. It is very clear. They may be in the Krishna religion, which are very few who are actually really properly engaged in worshipping the Lord. But there are some, but there are very few who are vegetarian, who are really sincerely praying to God and having some kind of also spiritual program with God in the center, in the church, in the monastery. There are very few. And even some of the Muslims also, which are very, very few. Yeah, less and less. But there are few Muslims also who are vegetarian and who are actually doing a proper procedure by which they are actually advancing and realizing that they are not this body. And they're doing their, for example, their process of purification they have. Some of the Muslims, similar to our process of doing Achman for purification, of then worshipping the Lord. Because ultimately, the original knowledge is coming from the Vedic literatures. And then most of the other religion, they got the knowledge from the teachers who were practicing Sanatana Dharma. Like even it is accepted by even many Christians, very few Christians actually, who are knowledgeable, who also accept that Jesus Christ actually went to India. And he was even in Vrindavan, he was in Jagannath Puri, he was in the Himalayas doing meditation, he visited Tibetan monks, he got some, because of doing tapasya and being empowered by the Lord, he had some siddhis, which then he showed also at various times. So he had the knowledge from the Vedic literatures, but they were not able to understand. So he just gave them some basic instructions. So like that. So we should see that ultimately the knowledge is coming from the Vedic literatures, ultimately. But then, due to time, place and circumstances, it was very simplified. As explained, just like the teacher in the school. He has to teach the small boys ABC and counting 1 to 10. That's all. But if they're continuing, they will come to Krishna consciousness. And that is for sure. And then they can become perfect. Is that all right? Okay. Anything else? Yes.
As you were saying that we will be free from the modes of religion and we will be just transcendental.
Yes.
How is that when you are in this material world, how we can escape from this?
How we become free?
Yeah, how we can escape from this transcendental
How we can escape from the...
From the modes of material.
Yeah, how to escape from the three modes of material nature. Yeah, it is not so easy. Even though we have all the knowledge and we engage in spiritual activities, but you become completely free from the three modes of material nature, it is not easy. If one is becoming free, means he is pure. It means he is liberated. And it is possible, but it is very rare to become completely free. Then we have to understand, for example, we have so many children, they're going to school. But then very few, they will go to the university. And even of those who are going to the university, very few they become professors, they become PhD, they become extremely qualified. So even even Krishna is saying in Bhagavad-Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchit yatidisiteye yatadapit siddhamam kashchim mam veti tattvataha. That out of thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And out of those who have attained perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So of the millions of people and the billions of people in this material world, not so many are interested in spiritual life. But even you may say there are 1 billion of the 5-6 billion people, maybe let's say there are 1 billion who have some spiritual quest to become perfect, to understand why we're here. They may be Christian, Muslims, or following the Vedic tradition. But of those 1 billion, how many are actually having the opportunity to engage in devotional service of the Lord and understanding properly that Krishna, Ram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead? From the 1 billion, maybe only 1/10 of them are properly engaged in these devotional activities under the guidance of the spiritual master. And those who are under the guidance of the spiritual master, how many are able to be fully absorbed in spiritual activities and becoming free from the three modes of material nature? Veti tattvataha, who know me in truth. Again, just like Jana Kamachame Divyam, Veti tattvataha, who know me in truth. Veti tattvataha, who realize Krishna Sarup, who realize their own Sarup. That is known as Sarup Siddhi, realizing your spiritual nature, who you are in Golok. So these are very few who attain Sarup Siddhi. And then after giving up the body, they will be there in the spiritual world, first in the place where Krishna is performing his pastimes in this world, that is known as Vashtu Siddhi. And they engage in the devotional service of the Lord. But first you have to realize your spiritual form, who you are in Krishna Lila. So, but that not so many, even amongst the devotees, let's say in our society, or the Vaishnava society, it is not so many who will realize that. It is possible, we can. But it is only those who are already from previous life fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, but they were not able to become perfect. Then they will take birth again, and they have all the opportunities to now become perfect. So these are very few who are completely free from the three modes of material nature. Very few. And then who will enter into the kingdom of God. These are very few. That we have to understand. And then the general devotees, there's no harm. If they're not becoming perfect, then they will take birth in the family of Vaishnavas or an aristocratic family, and then they may become perfect, like that. So the devotees who are pure, who are free from the three modes of material nature, they are very rare. But they are there, we should understand, they're always there. But they are few. So the Sadhguru is there, the pure devotee, the spiritual master is completely free from the three modes of material nature. And then there's a Sad Shishya, the devotee who becomes perfect by following strictly the spiritual master. But they are also rare. They are rare, but they are there, we should understand. So just like, for example, all of Prabhupada's disciples, we have respect for all of them. But it doesn't mean that all of them are pure devotees. We respect them. And they're all great souls and very fortunate. But we have seen also maybe some of them, they left Krishna consciousness because it is not so easy. Some maybe are not able to chant, for example, 16 rounds, but still we respect them because it is not easy. That is just to make a point that it is not so easy to become completely pure a disciple then of the spiritual master, they become perfect. And similarly, then the spiritual masters who are now present, the disciples of Prabhupada, so all great souls, and then they have their disciples. But of these disciples, of Prabhupada's disciples, it is not that all of them are now becoming pure devotees. No, only few, they will become pure devotees. That is the reality. Of course, Prabhupada said, all my disciples are pure devotees. That is also true. If you follow the pure devotee, then you're considered pure devotee. But there are different levels of pure. If you're chanting 16 rounds, you follow the 4 regulative principles, you engage in spiritual activities, then you're considered pure. But it doesn't mean you're completely pure in consciousness, that you have realized your sarup, that you're completely free from the 3 modes of material nature. So different levels of purity is there. So that you have to understand. But those who are really pure, the Uttam Vaishnav, so they are rare. Even it is explained, the Uttam Vaishnav, 3 kinds of Uttam Vaishnav. That is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his book, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. It is a commentary on the nectar of devotion of Rupa Goswami. There he has explained about the Uttam Vaishnav. And he has explained 3 kinds of Uttam Vaishnav. Siddhadeha Prapt, one who has realized his Sarup and is completely free. And then Nirdukashai, one who is practically free from the old Kashai, the impurities, but still something little is left. And then the Murchikasai, some who are still having some more impurities. But they are Uttam Vaishnav, like Bharat Maharaj. He was on a bhav platform, very high level, but somehow some little impurity was there. And therefore he showed compassion to a small deer who lost his mother. And then, because Maya is very strong, even sometimes the great devotees are bewildered. He became bewildered. And then he actually fell from his platform. But because of his being an exalted devotee already, therefore in the next life, so he still remembered his previous life, and he stayed with the sadhus, even in the body of a deer. And then he gave up that body and they became Jar Bharat. And he was exalted personality, but then he behaved just like a person who is not completely sane. Almost like a crazy person, because he didn't want to be associated with materialistic persons. And then he became perfect. So that is to show us that even if one is advanced, one has to be careful. And the pure devotee, 100% pure, they are very rare. That we have to understand. Okay? Yeah.
When you say Prabhupada said all my goods are pure,
Yes.
and there's one comment, just like Prabhupada said, just like a touch stone.
Like the?
If you touch stone, if you touch iron, it becomes gold.
Yes.
So that gold remains gold, it doesn't again become iron.
Yes.
So when his devotees, they become pure devotee,
Yes.
so they cannot go and become just like iron. Once they are touched by touch stone,
Yes.
or they are become very
Yeah, just like Bharat Maharaj, he was a great devotee. So if one is in contact with a great devotee, he had become quite pure. But just like gold, for example, there's 24 karat gold, there's 22, there's 20 karat, there's 18 karat, maybe even less, 14 karat gold.
9 carat.
Huh? 9 karat. It is all gold. It is all wonderful. But still, the intelligent person will go for the highest. And he will understand. The one who is dealing with the gold, he will understand this is 22 karat. This is 20 karat. This is 18 karat. It is all gold. But there is difference of purity. So all proper disciples are pure. But some are more pure than the others. Okay? All right. Hare Krishna.